Hey, Control the Trade here. Recently I posted on Twitter asking you guys to pick some stocks that you wanted me to analyze and chart and put into a video, and I appreciate those that responded and posted some tickers, and these are mostly tickers I've never seen before or never charted, which is always a fun thing. Kind of gives me an unbiased view, and sometimes I find tickers that I really like based on these suggestions. Let's go to the Twitter feed and take a look at what we're going to be looking at in this video. So I posted this tweet here, and again, I appreciate those that responded. Hopefully this will grow and I'll get a lot more requests going forward. Please don't be shy. I'm really happy to take a look at these tickers, help out fellow traders, at least give you an idea or perspective from a technical standpoint, from a chartist standpoint. Just so you know, these videos will be more from a day trading perspective, heavily in a day trading perspective. I might mention things long term as well. For the most part, it doesn't matter what the ticker is. What matters is what the chart looks like, as I've learned that all charts act and react the same way. So just keep that in mind when you listen to my analysis, because things will change and can change very quickly based on what we read in the charts. But I will say, if you look back at my content, when I choose an important number, quote unquote important number, these numbers serve as magnets to the market, and you'll see a lot of the times that I'll be really close to the penny sometimes on these stocks. So if you're the type of trader that's a little unsure of technical analysis, or maybe you've heard all sorts of different ways of doing it, it can be really confusing. My way of doing it is going to be a lot different than most that you'll see out there. I don't use a lot of the indicators that other people use. I'm not knocking those indicators, but I will say be careful. Some of them are kind of worthless, but to each his own. If something works for you, you stick with it, and no judgment at all. If it's working for you, go. RSI works for you, great. MACD works for you, fantastic. VWAP, I just don't use those things. I do have an awareness of them, like VWAP, for example. I keep things like that on the chart because I have an awareness that other traders are looking at those. It's important to other people, so I at least want to know about it. But for the most part, I want to stick to my plan and the way that I see the charts. Okay, but on to the video. So let's look at this thread and we'll see what has been requested. Okay, so the first couple that came out here is ORRCF, XPL, then VTNR, ASC. Thanks, it takes two to contango for that one. And Grant Hinkle, thank you for the additional suggestions of RAVE and TNP. Shout out to Grant Hinkle. I'm a big poker fan, used to play poker a lot. We have a bracelet winner here that sent the tweet, so truly appreciate that. I do find a lot of similarities in poker and day trading. There's a lot of psychological aspects that are similar, momentum aspects, a lot of waiting, a lot of patience, a lot of crazy moments where you have to think fast, a lot of math. There's a lot of things in common. We also had a couple more here from Cards fan Joanna, little Larry Fitzgerald there. Great, I think that's Larry Fitzgerald, right? FUBO, and PLTR. And I have done some videos on PLTR, but we'll talk about that one again. It's a really popular stock, as is FUBO. Both of them present great opportunities for day traders. I know FUBO is one that's highly shorted, so you'll get a lot of short squeezes and violent movements in FUBO. So thanks again to everyone that posted, and let's go to the charts. Okay, let's start off with ORRCF. Alright, so we're taking a look at a daily chart. So let's take kind of a broader view on the daily chart, and then we can get a little closer with an hourly chart. So there's a nice move that happened here. It looks like we had a really bullish close on Friday. We have a great close above the 20 period moving average and the 50 period moving average. That is definitely bullish. So we have a lot of overhead resistance here and all these red days here. And our high is 165. That's what we're trying to challenge. Up here, we'll probably try to challenge this candle high, which is 165. Have we done that before? High here was 160, kind of came close, backed away, trailed off. We had a nice doji candle close here on Thursday. So when the daily chart is looking bullish, we do have a wide range here though. We have our 200 period moving average all the way down here. We'll do a 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart looks great too. Our 50 period moving average, we're well above that right now. And this looks bullish. A weekly chart looks good. We came down to almost test the 20 period weekly moving average here. I like this candle right here on the weekly. This offers nice support. The low of this candle here is 110. So I would say that anything below 110 I would be concerned about. Any closes below 110, you're going to get more of a bearish look on this chart, any kind of big pullback like that. Whereas if we can continue to close above let's say the high of this candle, we're going to see a more bullish activity and try to, again, challenge this 165 up here maybe. Alright, so let's move on to the next one. Okay, the next one we're going to take a look at is XPL. Taking a really quick look, this is on a really nice uptrend above all the important moving averages. It does have a pretty wide range though, again. Pretty volatile it looks like. Let's take a look at a longer time frame. The weekly chart looks good too. We obviously want to get back above this 125 here, that would be bullish. 4-hour chart is interesting. We're holding this 20 period moving average right here on the 4-hour. You have the 50 down here. So you definitely want to stay above $1, of course. $1 is that psychological level that you would look for support on any stock really. And then $1.25 is another psychological level. You get above that and maybe you'll start to run up towards 150 pretty quickly. Let's go to the next one. Thank you to Multi Humpert for posting that. We're going to move on to Grant Hinkle and VTNR. Okay, so looking at the daily chart on VTNR, it's tough when you see a stock that has this kind of run up with not really much volume, and then all of a sudden you have this huge volume spike here. I know a lot of the energy stocks have been running really wild lately, but I do like that we found support here on the 20. This is a tough one. Again, another wide range. Yeah, so this one I like to see a little more volume behind this, some sort of catalyst to really get the chart moving. It's tough to trade any low volume stock. Let's move to the next one. Okay, the next stock was ASC, posted by It Takes Two to Contango. We're looking at the daily chart right now. Looks great. We're above all the important moving averages. Started closing candles above the 200 period. Our 20 period average is sloping up, and along with the 50 period moving average. Definitely bullish. A lot of these stocks have been beaten down in this industry, and they're starting to make a comeback, so that's a good sign. I like that we're above the 50 period moving average on the weekly chart, and that moving average is 409, so that's going to be some support on the weekly chart. Where do we close the week? We close at 424, above that. That's great. The high of this candle was 430. Love to see a close above that number. You have all this room up here to challenge the high of this candle here and maybe up to the 200. So I could see this running up, as long as we don't get a strong pullback, as long as we don't have any kind of pullback, we should see a nice run up here. And the hourly chart is looking good. I do keep the time frames, just so you know, these different bars. I do keep the after hours and pre-market on my charts. Sometimes I'll look at the chart without them. Yeah, so the overall trend is up. Looks like we're really trying to break out of this long-term downtrend. So I'd say that's pretty strong for ASC. And I could see this one making a nice move up higher. Maybe start to challenge up at the $6 range. We'll keep an eye on that one. Thanks for calling that one out. Let's go to the next stock. Okay, Grant Hinkle called out RAVE and TNP. Let's take a look at RAVE. Wow, look at this chart. Don't know what to make of this day here. Extreme volume. Unbelievably big reversal candle. Made a high and just crapped out. So we made a high at 236. I mean, it looks like a pump and dump. I don't know if it is, but that's what it looks like. We made a high at 236. And we closed all the way down to 117. And once we did that, we had this reversal. It made some attempts at the 117, never closed above 117 until this candle right here, which brought us to a new uptrend here, it looks like. So it looks like maybe we'll make another challenge of 236. It'll be interesting to see if it does that again. We have another pullback down here towards the 20. So you have a wide range here again. 50 period moving average is something I'd watch for support. And again, we need some more volume on this one. Okay, TNP was the next. At a quick glance, we are above all the moving averages, including the 200-day. That's bullish. Not a big fan of this candle right here, but as long as we keep closing above these moving averages, again, I don't want to keep repeating myself, but we're looking bullish. This looks like another one that is in a longer term downtrend, but has recently started to recover. Made a low here, 706, and we've been recovering since. Here's a weekly chart. And the weekly 50 period moving average is 1012, and we just closed under that at 956. We really would like to recapture that. So until that point, I'd say this is going to be one area of resistance. But the daily chart looks good. Let's move over to FUBO. FUBO looks like a textbook short squeeze right here. Let's take a quick look at the short interest. So the short float is still high on this one, still over 30%. I don't usually look at this type of pattern, but it does look like a little triangle pattern developing here, which if you're coming from a bullish perspective, if you're coming on an uptrend and you're making that triangle, it tends to be more bullish and you should get a breakout if this pattern plays out and we get another squeeze. To me, this is definitely more of a day trading stock.